Welcome to Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Hello, Nerd Nation! I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. Grab a cold evergreen goblet of blue milk and make yourself comfortable here at my House of Nerd. Tonight's sponsor is brought to you by the restaurant at the end of the universe, where the food is mostly harmless. And you can come and learn about life, the universe, and everything. While there, try item number 42 on the menu, which is the fish. And if you like it, let us know at the end of your meal by telling us so long and thanks for all the fish. The restaurant at the end of the universe, just another thing in your life as good as the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster. Watch it.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you noticed, you probably didn't key into it. I fit every book name in his series of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in that fake sponsor.
Nice.
Well done.
I didn't know that the last one is and another thing. That's the last book.
I knew you were talented, regardless of what Eric says.
Jerk. Hey, when I get ideas, I get ideas.
Go for it.
All right, guys. Today on the podcast, we are on the topic for this month, which is films that are from books. And this week we are talking about John's pick, the 2005 movie, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, directed by Garth Jennings and based on the book of the same name by Douglas Adams, starring Martin Freeman, Sam Rockwell, Mos Def, Zooey Deschanel, Bill Nye, which shout out to Peter who loves Bill Nye, Anna Chancellor, John Malkovich, and the voices of Stephen Fry, Helen Mirren, Ian McNeice, and Alan Rickman as Marvin. Let's talk about this movie, guys. I'm going to first say right off the top here that I absolutely love the book.
Yeah.
Love it. It's one of my favorites of all time. I own almost the whole series. I didn't know there was a last one, another thing, but I absolutely adored these books. I think they're funny. I love the humor in them. Now, I preface that with, I'm not sure about the movie, guys.
Really?
Oh, okay. Hot take. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people would be thinking, might be thinking like, oh, this might be right up Josh's alley. But every time I've watched this movie, there is a lot of humor in there that I do enjoy. And I see the book, somewhat in front of me, but for some reason, it doesn't hit home as well to me in the movie form as I think the books did. I don't feel like it translates as well, the humor. One thing that I found myself doing almost every time I watch this movie, well, actually since the first time, I didn't do this the first time, but the last two times I've seen this movie, I struggled staying awake.
Oh.
In the middle of the movie. And when I like, I don't think this is a horrible movie at all, guys, at all. There is so much good here. There's so much good here. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't hit me the same as, or endear me as the same as maybe the books. And maybe it's because I've read the books and I love the books so much.
I'm from the opposite. I really, really enjoy this movie, and I honestly feel like this is one of the best adaptations of a book to a movie that I've seen in a long time.
Do you?
Hot take. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the better ones. I know a lot of that has to do with the fact that Douglas Adams was like involved in every step of the way from this film, and I know that has a huge play because it's not a literal translation. The producers have said that it's not a quote literal translation, but that all the changes like basically ran through Adams first. And he would come up with new things that worked better on film, better, or not better, but interpretations that favored film. And I think because he was there for every step of the way, like the adaptation of the feel of the book, in my opinion, and kind of what the book hopes to at least partially accomplish. I think was definitely accomplished with the film, and I'm so happy they did a director's commentary on this one. I watched that at least 3 or 4 times, like the whole commentary through, and just blown away by some of the things that they were able to pull off in this film. So that's hot take. I think it's one of the better book adaptations out there.
Interesting.
I won't deny that a lot of the stuff in there that I do really like. It's just for some reason I wish I could tell you what it was, that because John, I so want to like this movie like a lot because I like the movie, or I like the books so much, and I don't know what isn't hitting for me in this. There are so many good things about this movie, though. I mean, I love it. The little scenes, I mean, the little cut scenes, talking about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy part of it, about how they're explaining stuff. Oh my goodness, that stuff's awesome. I love the part about the whale at the end where he's talking. They're talking about the whale falling, and
well,
I mean,
the whale falling makes
hilarious.
more sense when you read the book. But yeah, the adaptation of how they showed the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy entries, like, because in the book they're like literal entries that you get to read, and there's these cool things. But how they decided to show them in the film was excellent. So I guess I have to ask, like,
user interface or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like the animating of it was just so well done.
Agreed.
So I have to ask, like, when did you read this for the first time? Like, what was going on in your life when you read this? Because I have like some really warm, fuzzy feelings. I read this the first time I was up at camp.
Did you?
Working at a Boy Scout camp, and some kid brought this up, and I'm like, I need something to read while I wait for the freaking campfire, and picked this up, and it was just amazing. And then, I tacked that on to that summer, so now when I read Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that's what I remember and feel. So I wonder if it's the same thing for you. Like, the book is so attached so well to memories.
It is.
Like that.
I think that's maybe some of my problem, John. I really do believe it, because I was a bit of a loner in junior high. I just had moved to Rexburg, and I didn't have a lot of friends yet. I'd been there for a couple of years, and I still didn't have a lot of like close friends. Well, actually none. Just kind of had casual friends. And that was during those years. Those were the years I kind of found Dune, and I found Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I found it at the library. And I like to own my own books at that time, so I ran and got it. And the first time I read it, because a friend had kind of also pointed me towards it, one of those casual friends. I used to go play chess in the library. And one of those casual friends I played chess with told me about it. And I picked it up, and I just couldn't put it back down. I already knew that I loved British humor, and it was one of those. I'm not a fast reader. I never have been really super fast, but I almost didn't put that book down until I was done. And it's not a long book, but it did suck me in to the point that I had to read almost every book after that. And it did endear me. And I just loved, I guess maybe I drew my own kind of ideas and thoughts on some of the things that were going on in it, when I read the book. It almost makes me want to read the book again, to be honest with you.
I read it this week. As
Did you?
As I watched the film. Yeah, I went and reread the book. I don't have.
I wish I had.
I don't have an issue. I know a lot of people, when they deal with book adaptations, they have issues with, like, no, that's not how I imagine it in my head. And so you either read the book and start imagining what the movie's done, and which kind of can kill some of the imagination and power of a book. And that's a whole, topic we can go down the road of. I don't run into that issue at all with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I think because of a lot of the decisions Adams chose direction wise. And it feels just such a unique standalone that when I read the book, I still have the book, like, my feel for the book. I don't have the movie playing in my head when I read certain parts of the book, which happens to me in some other novels that might come along. But so I don't have that same disconnect. And I really enjoy the adaptation of it.
Well, and that's good. I think I really like the look of it, though. The way that it looks. I don't have a problem with that at all. I think it's directed really well in the sense the sets look awesome.
Well, the
Go ahead.
majority of stuff is practical too.
Yeah,
Like the Vogon suits, those are all practical effects. Those are all prosthetics.
they remind me of the Fifth Element, the same dudes in the Fifth Element, that bring the stones of the Fifth Element to Dallas and stuff. Yeah, that's when I see him, I went, oh my goodness, that looks very similar, or it's along the same lines anyway.
Well, I mean, Jim Henson's Creature Shop did an amazing job on this movie, I thought.
Oh man!
Wait, Jim Henson did this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's all the practical creature effects and puppeteering and stuff. That was all there. That's all that shop.
Yeah, the behind the scenes shows you the Vogons and how they get into the suits, and I'm just like, I'm so glad I am not working in one of those suits. They had dehydration issues they had to be careful of, and like, it was intense, man, and it was great. I think the film would have suffered if they had done more CGI than they did.
Yeah, I think saving the CGI for the ships and the planets and kind of those types of effects and kept the creatures practical was really nice choice.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
Including the giant lady with the hairy ankles. That was I don't know how they put that together, but that was intense. That was intense puppetry.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Well, and then you got
the production, regardless of what you think about the story and whether or not it came across or stuff like that. Like the production values on this movie are
insane.
excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. That's why I was so careful to come across with what I said.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, and then they could have had a known, and this is what always gets me with this film, is they could have had a no name running Marvin inside, but no, they got Warwick Davis to run Marvin.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that shows a dedication to the film. Like, no, I mean, because and from a director's point of view coming in, and like, body language and body acting is just as important as Rickman's voice. So no, we need an actual actor, and so let's get Warwick Davis and not just some no name that would be able to fit in the suit. So
I was
to me,
wondering where Warwick was. I saw his name in there, but I wasn't sure what he did.
Yeah, no,
I didn't realize he was Marvin.
He's inside the suit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Alan Rickman does the voice, and Warwick Davis runs the suit.
That's one thing I think they hit dead on was Marvin. And so that one I think is the I think I'm a little bit like I wasn't sure about what's his name, the president of the galaxy,
Zaphoid Beeblebrox, my friend.
Zaphoid Beeblebrox, there we go. I liked Sam Rockwell doing it. I just didn't, for some reason, I didn't feel like it was exactly right, but I did enjoy his interpretation of it and stuff.
I appreciate that we went to more in on Hamakavula with John Malkovich of all people.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
I agree with that, actually. I had forgotten about all of that, the intricacies of that scene, actually. All the little legs and arms and
yeah, like, and then just John Malkovich acting like is amazing. He does it so well, and then I appreciate like the conflict that created. Like it was that whole scene and that whole area created some of the biggest sources of conflict with what's her face being Trillian or Trisha or whatever you want to call her. I guess Trillian at that point. She goes by Trillian.
Yeah, she was Trillian.
Gets taken away. Zaphod loses his second head. So it sets up the film super well and gives you like these stakes all of a sudden, and it's just well done. Very, very good. I like the fact that to get rid of, or to at least live with one of the consequences, they put a freaking lemon squeezer basically on top of Rockwell's head to give him boosts of.
So remind me, is that in the book?
No,
I was gonna say I don't remember that being in the book at all, and it surprised me to see it again.
Most of the Hamakavula stuff isn't in the book either. He's mentioned there, but they don't have a scene from if I remember correctly, where they actually go to meet Hamakavula. And I'm trying to remember if Trillian actually gets captured. I don't believe so. I just read it this week, but then I watched the movie right after, so now I've got conflicting things in my head. No, because that's where it kind of starts to leave the book, because the book is definitely setting up a longer time, more books, and I mean, again, a lot of this is based
Absolutely
on a
is.
radio show, so a little episodic, whereas the movie needed to wrap this up in, what did they have, an hour, 2 hour runtime?
Yeah.
I want to say it was hour and 49 minutes. So they had to kind of had to wrap that up. And some of the stuff they pulled in, it was interesting to me, like the whale. They decided to pull that one in and leave it hanging, because generally in movies you don't necessarily leave lots of things hanging. I guess if they were looking at doing a sequel.
No, I thought that scene was actually perfect with the whale and the flowers.
But you and I know about the whale though.
Right.
Or not the whale, the flowers. That's what I mean. The whale's great, but the flowers where they're like, oh no, not again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hanging thread I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
And you and I know what happens with that whole thing. That it's this interdimensional being that Arthur just keeps killing off through the books, which is hilarious because it eventually comes in. So it's just interesting they left this hanging thread as if they thought they were going to come back and do a sequel, or if it was just they wanted to stay true to the book at that point. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't believe there wasn't a sequel. Even though I have my little kind of like weirdy things I say about it, I still think it was good enough, and I think it was a good start to the trilogy, and it made money.
They made almost half their budget back in opening weekend.
Yeah,
just U.S. and Canada, and it looks like gross and worldwide they made over 150 million. So,
on what was the budget again? Was it
50 million?
50 million. I was going to say 30, but I knew it was too low. It made money, and that's why I was like, that's one thing that kind of drives me crazy a little bit. I'd love to see the restaurant in the universe. Really would.
Oh, absolutely.
I so much would love to see it. And when the one thing I hate about Hollywood is when you see a movie and I'm worried about this with Dune coming up, that it does make enough money. They do make a profit off of it, but it's not as much as they wanted, even though it did. Mm-hmm. And it's not a bomb or anything like that. And that you never see the sequel, even though it probably would come back and do just fine. And I don't know why they make those choices sometimes, and then they make choices like The War with Grandpa. I know I've said that one a few times because it just drives me nuts that movie got a sequel, and it is awful. It is terrible. And it only got a sequel because of COVID.
Well, so there's one of the reasons that might have happened is how long this film took to make, because this film was years in the making.
True.
And
do you think it's because of Douglas Adams too?
Well, yeah, because he died in 2001, so he died before the actual film was released.
Yeah.
After working on it, so I think that might have been a mix of it. So, and then getting the same all-star cast together again, like, I don't know how hard that would be and how much money that would take too.
Well, I mean, Zooey Deschanel definitely kind of was moving up the time. She's she's still around and definitely does things, but she was really skyrocketing at that point. Mm-hmm. With Elf and
Martin Freeman for sure is just out there now.
Yeah, exactly. Most def you see him every once in a while pop up and stuff, which is great because I love him. And when he is in a film, and then Sam Rockwell, I can't say enough about Moon. He is a terrific actor, mm-hmm. and stuff. When I always liked him, and then when I saw Moon, I just couldn't. I was totally sold on Sam Rockwell from that point on.
Yeah, I was from Galaxy Quest.
Oh, isn't he so good in that too?
Yep.
And I don't think of him. It's funny. I always have, for some reason, thought of him as more of like a serious actor. But yet, there's two movies right there that he's not. He's comedic.
Yeah. Well, and then what is it? The one where he's an assassin and he's with Anna Kendrick. He's opposite Anna Kendrick. I can't remember the name of that one. But anyways, he's
Yeah.
great. And then it's interesting to me how many of his characters he plays is named Sam too. So many of the characters are named Sam. In
That's
a lot
kind of
his
like
films.
what's his face? The guy that was in Who's the Boss? Tony.
I wonder if he has issues listening for someone else's name. And they're like, just screw it, rename the character Sam.
Because that guy, I can't remember his last name, but the guy that played Tony in Who's the Boss, and he was the same character in Taxi, like the same name, and then another show that he brought back a few years ago. He was in another show. His name was Tony. Tony Danza. That's the name of him. Anyways, I just think it's funny when actors do that. Dwight. No, that's not my name. Tony. Yep, that's me. Anyway. What else do I?
Yeah, I have lots. I have lots with this one.
Well, keep going.
Stephen Fry is the narrator. I think they could.
Oh, that's Stephen Fry doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, this was an all-star studded cast, my friend.
Well, I knew Stephen Fry was in it, but I didn't know what he was doing. He is one of the.
He's the narrator. Yeah.
He is one of the funniest men. He can play it so straight, and yet be hilarious at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he is
got
so
Helen
perfect
Mirren.
at that. Huh?
Helen Mirren.
Yeah, she was the voice of Deep Thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Richard Griffiths is Jeltz.
Who's Richard Griffith? I saw his name, but I wasn't sure who he was.
He's in Harry Potter. If you've watched a lot of the Harry Potters,
seen him all multiple times. Huh?
He plays Vernon Dursley.
That's him.
Yep.
I did not know that. I wonder what was the part he played, or is he just a voice?
No, he's Jeltz. He's Vogon Constructor Jeltz.
That's him. Oh my goodness!
And if I remember correctly, he was in the suit. I'd have to double check that one.
Oh my goodness!
In the show notes that we never do.
Right. Oh my goodness! I had no idea. Yeah, we should start. We should do those every one of these days.
So there's two things. First, this first part we probably should cut out of the final thing. But I do have to mention it. When I first saw this film, I was watching an illegitimately obtained copy from a friend. And the whole part with the dolphins in the beginning where they have it in 4:3 aspect ratio and they have it like really low quality, like a little square in the screen. I just assumed for like the whole time that I got a bad copy and bugged my friend to get a new copy. So I didn't watch past that until I got a new copy, and I'm like, what the crap? Because I couldn't go see it in theaters at the time. I can't remember the reasoning behind it, so I wanted to watch it so bad. So yeah, I ended up getting like 2 different copies until I figured out, oh, this is just how the movie.
This is how it is. But that's that opening scene, by the way, with the "So Long, Thanks for All the Fish" song. That's great.
Well, and that's my second part here is as introductions to movies go, the intro from the "So Long to Thanks to All the Fish" to the space reveal of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy title and as the book, I count that among some of, in my opinion, the best pacing in filmmaking for especially introductions. Like, I felt everything that was there was on point. It moved the plot along at a perfect pace. Like, everything just felt so smooth.
I won't deny you on that one.
Until the moment they blow up Earth.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I would agree with you on that, because I don't feel my feelings earlier. That's not where I start feeling that way. I start feeling a little weird with the movie once they get into space and stuff like that. That's where I feel like the pacing is a little bit, I don't know. To me, it's a little bit slow. It's slow enough it's making me twice want to go to sleep. So, but I'm interested. I'm still watching it. I don't go to sleep because I want to watch it. It's just it gets a little bit slow for me, and then it picks up again, kind of when they go to the what's his name again, the John Malkovich character, when they go see him.
Hamakavula.
Yeah, it picks up right around there, towards the end of that a little bit for me. So, but yeah, again, I love the book so much. I want to watch it. I want to see it. Oh my goodness. But that's okay. But that's why I say there is so many good things in this movie and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
You've been awfully quiet. I hope I didn't talk over you.
No, you're fine. It's been good listening to you guys go after it because I think you both are on opposite ends to some degree.
I feel like we meet
feelings
in the
about
middle
this movie.
on some things.
Well, sure. I mean, we're not totally opposed to each other, but I'm saying like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not in love with this movie, but I'm also I didn't fall asleep during it.
Mhm.
So, you know, as far as like the two representations that y'all have generally for your feelings
Yeah.
about the movie, I'm somewhere in
So
the middle. I think the
so
production values are great, and I think
Mhm.
the and Douglas Adams kind of dry cynicism about how the universe works and stuff like that, and kind of attitudes and stuff like that is just. I mean, it's. I think it's better in the books, but it's still on the screen and does really well as far as just kind of bringing that across to the audience. I think.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
like
And I agree with that for the
the
most part.
trilogy of God books always cracks me up.
Yeah.
Who is God and what has he done for us, or something like that. And it's just that always cracks me up in the
Yeah.
book, and in the movie it doesn't. It almost gets there. So I will
Almost,
say,
yeah.
to spoil my rating a little bit, I'll watch this with my mom, sure. But if I was going to give it a numerical rating, I wouldn't actually give this a 10 out of 10. I would give this an 8 out of 10, probably. So I'm like, there, I
Okay.
really, really enjoy it. But as an adaptation of a book, that's where I'm like, dude, this is a really good adaptation from a book. Like the faithfulness to the original text for one, and then to the artist's and author's vision and style is another one. That's where I'm like, probably not polar opposite, but definitely opposite Josh with regards to like, no, this is like 10 out of 10 material stuff right here.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
because the movie did have some struggles with, especially pacing. I admit, to the middle there was
Yeah.
some definite issues. If you're not like this massive Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, can be a little bit like, okay, let's move on to the next place. But to be fair, the book had some pacing issues when it got to the part where Arthur Dent was now stranded on this planet where he was dealing with so when he's stranded on the planet, he's dealing with 8 men, and he's trying to find the answer to the life, universe, and everything by pulling Scrabble tiles out of a bag. So I mean, there was some definite pacing issues in the book too. And then I want to say it wasn't in book 1 where he learns how to fly.
No, it's
No,
not.
that was like book 2 or 3. But there's some definite pacing issues in the book too. So I think it's just fair pointing that out. Like it's not the same. But books are different pacing wise because you can just blow through them, and you're like, okay, I can just keep going and
exactly
and read through it.
I don't usually. It's funny with books. There's been very few books in my life though that I struggle with the pacing. There's been a couple of fantasy books that I've tried to read that I just like, okay, I'm done in the middle of it. I can't do this anymore. We can't go on another journey to some other town and take 10 years to get there. Which there's quite a few books out there that do that. And, but some of them just quite get to me. So, but for the most part, most pacing in books don't bother me because of exactly what you said. It's usually movies. And I've gotten way better about slower movies. I've never, if it's a good movie, I don't care if it's a slow movie, and there's only a couple parts, and you're dead on where it is. Like you were saying, it's in the middle where I struggle with it because the ending, I don't really have as much of an issue. In the beginning, I don't have as much issue. I kind of get lost in the middle, and whereas where I really struggle with it, and then it kind of comes back and I enjoy the part of, when they, find out about the second, or about the copy of Planet Earth and things like that. That's a cool scene, by the way. That's a fun scene where he's showing them around this copy of Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Nye
like,
plays a great
made
part.
Some change.
What's
we've made
that?
some great changes here.
Yeah. That whole part I really did enjoy. I do enjoy and stuff like that. So that, that's overall, there's just key points that I'm just kind of like, One thing that I thought was pretty good I felt like it translated pretty well is crap, I just watched it. I literally watched it, got done watching it an hour and a half ago. The unpredictability drive, or was it paradox?
The improbability drive.
Improbability drive. That's hilarious when they do that.
Yeah, to visualize
the yarn.
Yarn. Vomiting yarn.
And was that Douglas Adams' face at the very end of the movie?
Yes. Yep.
I had a feeling it was. It almost felt like a Doctor Who thing.
Yep. They had a lot of fun with the improbability drive and hiding Easter eggs. There's a lot of Easter eggs in the animation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, I wish we could watch this together with the audience and the directing commentary because it's just so well done. And if I can get on my soapbox here, please go back to making director commentary and please freaking streaming things like Netflix and Amazon Prime. Can you please, for the love of all that is freaking holy, include an audio track with director's commentary from films that have it? Sorry, that's my soapbox. I miss those so much.
I wonder if that's really Netflix's call.
Probably not. It's probably the studio's
It's
call.
probably the production studio. Yeah.
That's one thing I do enjoy about when I buy it through, like, say, Vudu, is if there is one, it's included with your digital copy through Vudu.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, and that's, I mean,
but I'm a sucker for director's commentaries in books and games. Like, a couple of my favorite games have director's commentaries, and they're just so well done.
I'm a sucker for anything behind the scenes on how the movie was made. If I love the movie, I mean, I can't tell you how many movies I've watched where, I mean, I've seen the Matrix one a million times and the making of Star Wars and all those ones a million times. I just enjoy it so much. And you're right, they're not as much as they used to be, but it seems like when we went Blu-ray, a lot of that stuff kind of went away a little bit. It's still there, but not as much as it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't get the fun menus. So, like, the menus for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there is a improbability drive item on menus, and what it'll do is it'll take you to random points either in the bonus features or the film.
Oh, no way.
So, like, yeah, like, you miss some of these cool things that DVDs and stuff used
no
to do,
flipping way.
Yep.
It's just awesome.
I probably still have this somewhere.
Yeah.
It might be at my folks' house, but I bought this as soon as I could.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's kind of stuff and it's awesome when they throw it into a fun movie like this. They throw those little teeny tidbits. It does add so much more to the movie, especially when it's a kooky movie like this one. And it's meant to be kooky on purpose, when they throw weird stuff in and the movie is not kooky, but it's kooky. Yeah, it's a different story, but I just like saying kooky too. Anyway. Anybody else have any other things to say about this movie?
I could go on probably for another 4 hours.
Could you?
I'm good.
But I am good.
Okay, I was going to say, if there's anything major that you need to talk about, JHoN,
because
we're here for you.
No, because the podcast will just be me. Like, do you know what else is cool? It's going to be me 2 hours. It's like me talking about Emacs.
But at the same time, I can't edit stuff, so.
I know, you're going to edit out everything I sit here and talk about. So it's
totally. Well, I have separate audio tracks now, so I can edit, so it just sounds like me and Crit are talking to each other, or talking to nobody.
Just put me off in my own, like, timeout, basically. Like, you got too heated on this one, John.
Or I could do a comment where you make like a comment and then like it sounds funny and then like cut off like any kind of like back and forth, so it makes you look like a jerk.
Yeah. So now we need to make our director's commentary for this podcast. So let's turn this one off, get the audio going in the background, and we'll do a director's commentary over it.
Here's one thing that I will say about this. All right. I look at this movie, I guess the last thing I'll say before we start going into ratings, with you just saying what you just said about, hey, we should get together and watch this movie together. I could see this movie to me being funnier if I'm with a group of people who enjoy it. Because this happened to me a little bit, and I've actually only seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by myself because I don't really have anybody who's interested, in my family, other than my brother who's not here. And this could be a movie like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I've said this one before. I know that I didn't, that was a movie that I watched and I went, and then I watched it with friends who were enthusiastic about it, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Mm-hmm. And I could see this movie doing that to me, being that way when I get with a group of friends like you guys that, enjoy this kind of stuff, and we can laugh about it and point and make fun and stuff like that. So, anyways, I won't ever disagree that, I might be like so with the movie, but it could be better when you're with, with people who are of like minds who enjoy things like this. So, and hopefully maybe that will happen someday with this movie. Anyways, do you guys want to go to ratings?
Yeah, let's do it.
John already gave his, so Kurt, you want to give yours and then I'll give mine?
Sure. I'll do 22 out of 41 flattened interdimensional beings.
Very nice. Oh, the mice. That was a good touch, by the way, how it showed them on the table. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this, and it's really not that much different than yours, John. Actually, not that by that much. I was just gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Pan-Galactic Gargle Blasters. And I would own this movie. I want to own this movie. I just, haven't really found it's kind of a little bit harder to find these days unless I order it directly. So, but I do want to own it. So, anyways, like I said, it's not that different. I was surprised when you said 8, and I was like, oh, I'm not that far away from what you said because there's so much I do like about it. We're close. All right. Let's go to Crit, your picks, and then after your picks we'll do the topic for the next month, which is coming from me.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, number 1. Japanese investments can be murder. Number 2. Learning to be a hero.
Okay.
And number 3. Great apes fight.
That one scares me. Oh, John, I'm actually leaning on either 1 or 3, man.
Say them again.
Number 1, Japanese investments can be murder. Number 2, learning to be a hero. And number 3, great apes fight.
I like number 3.
I think that's my favorite as well.
Okay. Number 1, Japanese investments can be murder. Rising Sun.
Oh,
okay.
I haven't seen that forever.
Yeah, me neither.
That's a
by
good
the way,
movie.
There is a connection between all these movies.
Okay.
They're all by the same. The original books are by the same author.
Oh, right on.
Learning to be a hero, The 13th Warrior.
Oh, God.
Making its second appearance and missing out.
We'll get to it one of these days.
And number 3, Great Apes Fight. Congo.
Heck yes.
I haven't seen that for ages.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't even remember really what it's about or if I liked it or not.
That's not surprising. Congo's got like a 22 on like Metacritic or something like that.
And these are all by what?
Michael
author?
Crichton.
Those are Crichton?
All Crichton books.
All 3 are Crichton movies.
Oh,
I was wondering, like, at first I saw like the Japanese theme. I'm like, I wonder. But then as soon as you gave me the third, I'm like, yep, that's Michael Crichton. I've read a lot of Michael Crichton.
He's
and
made
to
a
be
lot
honest,
of movies.
Yeah,
like,
he has
he's getting
too.
up there with like Stephen King.
Though we'll talk about it next week. But I feel like he's definitely one trick pony. But
maybe
we can save that for next week.
All right.
That's my hot take.
Another one.
It's the same story every time.
All right.
Use that as the soundbite for next week's episode.
Wait, we have sound bites now? Oof, production quality.
I don't know.
going up.
I'm just adding production quality for
Yeah,
Josh.
no.
to
Well,
take care
I'm
of.
All of a sudden
I'm
we have
actually
a
started. I've been
commentary
starting
track.
to do them.
We have a commentary track. We have large edits and.
Well, they don't
hidden
call them
cuts.
commentaries anymore. They call them reacts. So we have to
Reacts.
react to them.
I'm pretty sure Bo Burnham put a casket on all that.
I know that was so good. You watched the special?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about that. It was so good.
Okay.
I got to be honest. If you watch my French fry videos, I've been doing like I've been doing like a little bit of a take like that feels like controversial in it, and then I put it at the very beginning and then kind of cut it off at a certain point
Okay.
and stuff, just to kind of suck the person in. I don't know.
Alright.
I've been trying to do it. It's kind of fun.
Fair enough.
Kind of fun to come up with it. What's controversial.
Read this out.
All right, guys, here we go. You guys ready for my topics for the next month?
Yep.
All right. So I changed it today. I had another one in my mind, but I changed it today. And I was going to tell you what it was, but now I don't know if I want to.
No, don't save it. Save it. Save it for a different time.
I'm going to save it because I was like really tempted, but at the same time I got thinking about it. There's a genre that I don't know if we've touched on very much, that I saw when I was looking through them again earlier today. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. And I am going to go with what we're going to go with is the topic of, and it's a little, I left it a little broad. I could have locked it down a little bit or something, but I decided not to the first time that we're looking at it. But I decided to go with psychological thrillers.
Okay.
So, and it doesn't matter when, it could be old, new. But I feel like that was one that that we haven't really tackled that much. We've done horror, we've done everything, but these are kind of their own thing. They can be a little bit of horror. They can be a little bit of a lot of things. But, when you see a psychological thriller, you know what you're watching. And I felt like, I looked into the movie selections and stuff like that. There's a lot of good psychological thrillers that I want to see or I haven't seen. I've seen and I haven't seen. So I look forward to it.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what our next topic is, guys. Psychological thrillers. Be thinking about it.
Will do.
And I will be thinking about Congo this week. And apes. Anyways, well, guys, thank you for the chat tonight. John, thank you for picking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, one of my fave books of all time. And to everybody out there listening, thank you for supporting our channel. We appreciate you spending your time with us as you go throughout your busy days. And as always, may you be excellent to each other and live long and prosper from all of us here at Josh's House of Nerd. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.